Alright, what's up, y'all? I am Syrup, and I'll be just reviewing over trapping moves in Pokemon. These are just something I found really interesting because I think they're pretty underexplored, underappreciated, but of course they have their flaws. So let's look over them. So we have partially trapping moves. These moves will trap an opponent for 4 to 5 turns, and they're not perfect by all means. There are a lot of them. I guess one of the advantages that they have is that there's a diversity of moves, and it's really not very obvious when they're initially used. I mean, you have things like Fire Spin that you probably remember using back when you played through Pokemon first time. You have Whirlpool, things like Bind and Wrap. Not particularly popular moves, but I think that the trapping ability is something that could be used for something. Infestation, in my opinion, is the kind of gold standard for these partially trapping moves because Infestation is a bug type move, and it has 100% accuracy. So, being bug type, nothing is immune to it except something like Shedinja. So it will trap any Pokemon it hits, and 100% accuracy means that it'll always hit. So that is perfect. In my opinion, because when you give your trapping a shot, you don't want to miss. With all the other moves, I believe they're 85% accuracy, or worse in the case of Magnastorm. And if you when you reveal it, when you reveal your trapping move, you can't really go back. Like your opponent catches wind of it, you're kind of up a creek when they decide to bail and switch out for better options. But yeah, Infestation is, in my opinion, the best move also because of the really diverse distribution of the move. Like a ton of different Pokemon get it that are not bug type. A lot of poison types, even like a lot of poison, grass, bug, even things like Quagsire learn it, which I think is really helpful in keeping a really diverse set of Pokemon that can learn it, which will pretty much surprise your opponent. A lot of different Pokemon learn Infestation, so it can help you use a lot of different mons to trap would-be counters or checks and either set up on them and kill them. And I guess that goes back to why do you use trapping moves? There are two strategic reasons to trap an opponent. You trap them to kill them, or you trap them to set up on them when they can't switch to another mon that would otherwise be able to kill you or stop your setup. And moves that partially trap versus moves that fully trap are good at doing different things. So, for one, because moves that partially trap are temporary, it's kind of better to use them just to trap to kill something because you're doing residual damage. You only have 4 or 5 turns, or 7 if you're holding the Grip Claw, to kill them off. And if you're using a fully trap move, however, that is much better to use to trap and try to set up on someone because it never wears off. You don't need an item such as Grip Claw to support it, and pretty much, as I'll show you a little later, it has a lot of options to do things like PP stall an opponent. But let's go over the moves for fully trapping moves. I'm pretty sure you've probably forgotten some of these moves. Shadow Hold is a Gale of Darkness move, so that's not actually accessible. Neither is Thousand Waves, which is not released yet. We're going to see it on Zygarde 10% form. Yes, Spider Web, which I'm definitely sure people forgot exists. It's only available to the Galvantula and Ariados lines, and neither are particularly good at trapping. But what leaves left is Mean Look and Block, which, in my opinion, are the main 2 moves because they'll fully trap someone. They have rather wide distributions, and they get the job done, frankly. So I'm going to transition into just showing off a couple sets that I've been prepping, or that I've been experimenting with. I'm going to start with trapping to kill, because this is something that people are more familiar with. You run like Magnetons, you can kill off that Skarmory, Kill that Ferrothorn. But trapping to kill with trapping moves is a little different because you have to lure them in and make sure that they don't switch out on you. So usually people only figure it out when you reveal the full set, but after that they'll get pretty wary. But because it is a trapping move, you have to lure them in. So this first jump up stuff is pretty evil in my opinion because essentially you trap them and then you encore them. So well, first off, what if they attack you? Well, frick. It depends on what they did. But I guess if they use a non-damaging move, such as like Stealth Rocks, such as like, I don't know, Calm Mind, you Infestation first turn, so they're trapped, and then you encore them into it. And I love that, I guess, Jump Lift as Infiltrator, so like if they sub, you can still get them with the Infestation and the Leech Seed right after. But I guess what's really essential about this set is that it's pretty freaking fast. It is the fastest user of both Infestation and Encore, and has like a support set of Leech Seed and U-Turn. So paired with Grip Claw, if you leave in someone, basically when you use Infestation and Encore, they will never wear off on the same turn. So even if Infestation wears off, you'll have them on an Encore, or their Encore will wear off while they're still trapped. So that essentially, if they don't have priority and they're slower, you'll get the jump on them, leaving them stuck in a non-attacking move. You can set up a Leech Seed, or you can switch out, get the initiative on them, and pretty much take advantage of their pretty awkward state. Now, this is Mew, which is in my opinion like such a solid mon for doing weird ass gimmicks, but pretty much in this case you trap to kill. You Binding Band will inflict more damage per turn. 160 is actually a pretty good amount. It will outstrip leftovers. So this is pretty much the standard Mew support stat, except without knockoff instead of put Infestation, because it actually it outstrips leftovers, and it'll trap someone. So if you trap them, you taunt them and wisp them, keep them from recovering, wear them down, and restall them out, you can actually beat a decent amount of mons. Almost the same amount of mons that you would have beaten with the normal knockoff set. So yeah, EVs are, I think this is to hit Gyarados. I'm not sure if it's actually, I doubt this hits Gyarados. If you want to increase speed just for that, speed creep, burn Gyarados and then taunt it, or taunt burn, whatever you feel like, you can do that. If you want to lower it a little, all the way down to like Bisharp range, because everyone loves wisping Bisharp and then taunting it. You can try that for a little more defense. But yeah, overall, Mew is just a really great mon because it is relatively fast, relatively bulky, and no one expects Infestation on Mew. You can run leftovers as well. In my opinion, it's not as effective, or Infestation itself, but by all means, give it a shot if you're facing more offensive mons where you need that extra 6% per turn. Alright, now we're gonna move into the crappier ranges. You have Binding Band Phione, where pretty much you Whirlpool someone and then you Rain Dance, and you just try to do as much freaking damage to them while they're trapped as possible. You rest it off with Hydration, which will heal you back fully, all status, full health, and then under Rain you'll be healed of Sleep. So pretty much a chest to rest under the water. You have Scald to do residual along with the Rain Dance boost, and you got that full defense. So I guess you trap someone that's a physical attacker, you burn them, you pretty much try to stall them out as best as possible. This is kind of the Theriumon range, because I'm gonna be honest, this set sucks. Like Phione sucks. But it sounds really fun in theory. However, this is like pure setup bait. They have like Dragnance, they have like Calm Mind. They just won't care. They have like Recovery. you won't actually do enough damage. That's why I gave it Binding Band, I think, because I think I figured that I'd rather do more damage than just do a really crappy performance over 7 turns. You also, with the set, you need to really watch, you need to really count your rain dance turns, because at different times, Whirlpool will wear off on different turns even, and you don't want it to be stuck having to rest when your rain wears off. Or you need to prep in advance to rain dance first and then rest if rain's wearing off. Yeah, give it a shot in like the really low tiers where, like, I guess people are really, like, Pokemon are really weak. This is pretty much a filthy gimmick, and the tragedy of trying to use Phione in any viable way. Next we got this filthy Licky, which I actually kind of enjoy, because Licky is really fun with Oblivious. It's like the one, or besides Aromatisse, it's like the other non-tauntable cleric. So if you need a cleric on your team, this is kind of fun stuff. And it's just really fat. Look at those disgusting stats. What a great bulk. But anyways, I put Whirlpool on it instead of Bind, which is, kind of weird, because yeah, what are you doing as a Ghost type? I mean, you wouldn't even be able to trap Ghost type, interestingly, but I guess I felt Whirlpool was just something that you can at least hit them for residual damage, and I think, yeah, with Binding Band you just inflict a little more damage, and for all other mons, like things like rock types, yeah, actually I have no idea why I put Whirlpool instead of Bind or Wrap, but in the end, Whirlpool has no immunities except like Water Absorb and Dry Skin, but people just would not really expect that on this. So pretty much this compresses if you need to trap something and do a little residual damage. You can actually outstall it with Wish and Protect, and over those 4 turns they'll deal, I believe, like 80% if they do not heal it off, or they can't heal it off. And you can, yeah, with Wish, Protect, and Heal Bell, you can outstall most things. So it kind of compresses the role of Cleric with like a really crappy stalling option. You can put Leftovers too, but Whirlpool will really do nothing. It'll just pretty much be offset by Leftovers, which is, it's your choice to trade off, especially if you need a Cleric more. This is also good for lower tiers, but it's pretty fun just overall, because I kind of enjoy Licky as a Cleric. You can't taunt it, so give that a shot. And you got that good old Quagsire, Unaware, the Bane of OU, the Crystal Eye of Stall. Pretty much, I put Leftover because Quagsire's stats are so bad that you need to augment it in any way. But especially you have that max defense with full investment. It's pretty bulky, and Amnesia just become this hideous wall. So you can actually start, you just straight up infestation someone, trap them, and you scald them until no tomorrow, until hopefully they burn, or and you just let the damage accumulate as you recover off their damage, and kind of laugh as they are unable to break your massive defenses from this stupid blank looking mofo. Yeah, what a tragic Pokemon. I also made a little homage to American Idol Inc. This is, I guess everyone loves Parasong Azumarill. I don't think it's that great. It can't even run Sap Sipper due to legalness. Actually, wait, is this even legal? Oh yeah. So these sets work, but yeah, Thick Fat Azumarill's not particularly grand. It'll trap Superior. It'll trap what's it? Mega Zard Y, and I'll be able to like wipe. Actually, no, not Zard Y. No wait, yeah, this is Thick Fat. All right, I don't know what this traps, but people love this thing. Yeah, you just Whirlpool, Parasong. My problem with Parasong is that it seems like it takes too long, but I don't know why I'm complaining, because most of my other sets will literally just drain someone's health over like 8 turns. So yeah, maybe I can't complain. But yeah, so I have the Kmart special. This is essentially the same set. I'll really switch these up here. Pretty much the same set. You can run rest or protect on the Kmart version of Parasong's Emerald, Dugong. But actually, I actually feel that this is like the one use for Dugong, because Dugong, fully invested, is the fastest user of Parasong Whirlpool that's actually available. And what it has over something like Lapras is that instead of bulk, it has that speed, so that you can actually Whirlpool someone and then Parasong and then Encore them into a status move that won't kill you completely. And you can protect if they attack you, but pretty much you'll be almost guaranteed. Well, if you survive 2 hits, you'll be pretty guaranteed to kill whoever you trapped. Especially because if you Whirlpool first turn and outspeed them, you can Encore them second turn, and Parasong, and then just kind of laugh in their face if they didn't attack you, as you just sing horribly and kill them. And I also have Lapras, which can kind of do the same thing, but this time it has block. So Whirlpool can miss, block cannot. And that's kind of nice because, yeah, you just want consistency. For this, I give it a hydration rest set. That's, I guess, the advantage it has compared to Dugong, is that it has all that bulk. So you might as well make use of that. Pretty much just block, Rain Dance, and then you Parasong, and you just rest like no tomorrow, you know. Just sing poorly, sleep it off. Yeah, no, this Parasong, I just never really liked Parasong because I don't know, it just seemed really obvious of a strategy. If it works, it works. Props to you. I have this crappy Murkrow set, or like Eviolite. Like I've loved Murkrow because it has that Prankster. It has a ton of utility moves, but by golly, its defenses are horrible. I guess I kind of just winged these EVs. I think this hit like a jump point. This is like an even number. I guess, you know, like if you happen to be an OU, you can speed tie with Rotom and Zoomer or something. But yeah, you can do the same thing here. You have that priority Mean Look, priority Parasong, and then you just roost and taunt and pray that you'll live for 2 turns, and then you can book it out of there as your opponent dies. But yeah, that's the Parasong options of trapping to kill. But as you can see, these sets are pretty flawed in when you have to trap to kill someone. If they're expecting you, you're screwed. But I do have an example of this actually working, though. Well, first off, this set is a Skarmory, which with Infestation, it did the same thing that the oh man, did I even switch? Oh, I didn't even switch. My bad. All right, yeah. So this Skarmory, I had an Skarmory, and this set is pretty much you trap them first and you set up spikes. But I put Grip Claw on it instead of Focus Sash, so people chose to attack, I'm dead. If people chose a Stealth Rock, I got full spikes on them. So let me just skip ahead to, I guess, where it's relevant. Let's see. Right over here. Yeah, so in this case you have Alomomola, and if I bring in any other mon, it'll Toxic it. So what I do is pretty much Infestation it, and let them, you know, knock me off with my Sticky Hold. I let them hit me with full damage knockoffs, you know, just buff Alomomola. But pretty much, yeah, I just trap him, and then I Encore him into the move. So he's stuck, he can't switch, he can't regenerate, and I bleed him out. I get another spike on him, and I recover off the damage, you know, because Recover of Skarmory is the most viable thing. And then from there, that allows me to sweep with Braviary without needing to worry about a Toxic ruining my sweep. Also, Braviary's amazing. But yeah, pretty much that allows me to trap and kill, like an otherwise counter. Oh, good God. Braviary is a monster. Yeah, so in that case, trapping was amazing because it allowed me to stop the enemy's counter and sweep them with my teammate. And that's what most people use trapping moves for like Magnet Pull, etc., etc. But with the type of move of trapping moves, I found the fully more satisfying strategy was trapping to set up on someone. So I'm gonna just tour this out with you. This is another replay where I decided to use the faster trapping encore strategy, but instead of killing them, I would set up on them. So you have this Gallade 110 speed, and I just mean looked him, he can't escape, and I anchored him into Stealth Rock. So while the Skarmory is pretty much just stroking it, I'm setting up 80 billion bulk ups. So of course there's a lot of flaws here. What if the Skarm attacked me? Yeah, I'd be fricked. What if the Skarm whirlwinded me? Then I guess hopefully he wouldn't do the same thing the next time I tried giving it a shot. But alas, he chose to do Stealth Rocks, and since it doesn't do any damage, it let me set up 8 bulk ups and pretty much sweep his team, because after this I give him one more encore so he can't whirlwind me out in case he even did have counter or like roar, and I pretty much just slug my way through his team. I mean, of course, this definitely has a ton of flaws. Let me eat this up. Yeah, the advantage of Drain Punch is that even faster mons that can't KO you, you'll still be able to blow through. But oh yeah, just watch that. Yeah, first off, that's the effect of no attack investment times 4. But watch me eat that up. That Gallade, disgusting. Unfortunately, it's also fun to note that Hyper Voice just blow away Gallade. But anyways, this is the trap to set up part where you pretty much just use block on someone and just set up all over their ass. So this first set is an Ubers set. I think it's actually I don't actually play Ubers, but I saw it used on I think either a Pokegame video or maybe Heatophilia video. But I mean, Xerneas is viable all by itself with just freaking Power Herb and Geomancy. But I thought the hilarious part is that you can actually Geomancy on something, and it's something like a Blissey that can't immediately kill you. It doesn't have like Snatch and stuff. Just like Toxic, Seismic Toss. You can just choose the block on it, and then like most of these other strategies, you trap them and then you just set up on them. And I really like this just because you can do a normal Geomancy sweep. These are just the straight up EVs pulled off the recommended set. What happened to the... Alright, yeah, I forgot the HP. These are just the recommended EVs as normal, but instead of coverage, you forgo coverage for setting up all over passive walls that would otherwise just status you and toxic you. I think you can set up all over things like Klefki, because you can block it and they can't do anything to you. Even if because they have to T-wave first, you just Geomancy a billion times, and then just go straight into rest, and you'll wake up after they use a priority move or before they use an attack. Eventually, I haven't actually used it in a game because I don't run or I don't play Ubers, but it sounds really fun. I might give it a shot. I just have to figure out Ubers itself as a tier, which is a mystery to me. We got this Theorymon Metagross, which Metagross has the bulk of Skarmory, which is pretty dope. So in this case, I chose to just make it a max HP, max speed. If you actually knew what specifically you wanted to counter, I would take out HP and EVs, or even speed EVs if you're fine with being outsped by base 110s, but I just figured that Metagross's natural bulk is pretty good. So pretty much, you block and use Hone Claws like no tomorrow. You can use a move like Power Up Punch, but the problem with Power Punch is that you increase your attack, you'll eventually kill your opponent that you're trapping, and even though it's tempting to have coverage for like things like Bisharp or something, when you set up to like when you set up to like +6, you don't actually need coverage when you can just obliterate them with your Tough Claws Meteor Mash that will never miss. So that is a plus. Yeah, so pretty much you block, you Home Claws up on your opponent, you rest it off, and yeah, the main condition for this, for these types of like dry rest, non-sleep talk rest strategies, is that they can't be able to kill you in 3 turns, I believe. 3 turns if you want a 1 turn setup per rest. For Xerneas, you need a 4 turn setup. So you have enough health to survive 4 seismic tosses. So I think that's the part where you have to work it out in practice, because you need to be able to boost up and then rest, wake up, boost up and rest. And eventually, I guess you want to wake up to the point where you have enough health to continue a sweep. So yeah, in the case of Metagross, you want to have not be able to be 3-hit KO'd, so you might want to EV specifically depending on that. Like you take out attack, investment, move into like defense, or even SP defense. Completely up to you. But this is actually something that I've tried with Lapras. So this Lapras set is the PU version of, well, it's a PU Dragon Dance version. So you block, you Dragon Dance up, and you Waterfall after like resting off the damage. But the key here is that, well, first off, Lapras sucks. Lapras is so incredibly weak. Like, yeah, this is, I think I tried Adamant once. It was still really disappointing. But pretty much, you actually do have a ton of bulk though, and use that to your advantage, because there's so many things that can't 3-hit KO you. And Lapras' ability in this case boosts the sweep, because Shell Armor is preferred when doing so much like setting up, surviving 3-hit KOs. You don't want a crit. That's what a blocked opponent will hope out for, is a crit. So you just need natural bulk, but in this case you even have Shell Armor to stop crits from happening, so that if someone does 33% or 30 up to 35% or less, then you can stall them out. And I'm gonna show that. It's let me show that to y'all in this replay. Where are we at? This one? Yeah. So in this replay, well, first I'm gonna show you this. This is my Yamask using Infestation and it failing to trap Gourgeist, because of course ghosts can't be trapped, which is a funny little boost to them. So I switched it on Audino, and Audino would normally just stay into Toxic me, because like Lapras is a bulky mofo. But yeah, in this case, Lapras can't, or Audino can't touch me. I trapped it, and you just set up all over his face. So I'm gonna skip through to show you that boost. So yeah, you just boost up till full, and then just wipe off the map. And that pretty much you want to set up on passive mons like that. In this case, it's more of a wall break, because I couldn't break through Gourgeist. He would have outstalled me, and eventually Lapras dies. But at least that shows how you can set up on Audino. And pretty much, in this case, Lapras' wall break essentially helped me sweep the rest of the team with my other setup sweepers. But yeah, you can choose other mons, such as this Wormadam, which only had Toxic and Gyro Ball. And after a while, he realized that I was PP stalling him, because when I was asleep, I'm not using moves. So I'll PP stall any option that he has, and that's kind of the secret of the strategy. It's kind of dickish. People hate you for it, but it's kind of like Gothitelle, which in my opinion is something genius. That's exactly how Goth stall worked. Is that it'll just rest up on someone else choice locked, and they run out of PP. But in this case, they're not choice locked, but they're trapped. I'm just napping away, and eventually, far down the line, I get all my boosts, and I pretty much just hold out for as much health as possible. Again, dickish, but you gotta make you wanna have the best shot to sweep. So Of course, you at this point he's at a PP. He's hitting me with that infestation's doing nothing, and I count that this is the max amount that will do. And all right, for mons like this, when people sweep you, or in order to sweep, if you're pretty much mono attacking. These sets are mono attacking because all you really have is you have space to block someone, you have space to boost, you have space to recover, and you have one more space to attack. So all these mons have attacks that aren't normally that there are no immunities to. But of course, in PU and just in any tier there are water immunities. So in this case, I had Toxic Spike support specifically for mons with Storm Drain and Water Absorb, and pretty much you just kind of sit back and watch the poor fishy just bleed out. Yeah, and from there, you facilitate the sweep. You know, you wake up, you have to time it right, and you sweep with the help of a little hacks. So, but otherwise, yeah, otherwise, you kind of design your team support around, I guess, things to help you sweep. Like in this case, you have Water Absorb Lapras, which I'm not going to do anything to. So, but what's important is I got the poison on him already. I trapped this Vibria, which does not have U-turn, which is very important. If the U-turn out on your trapping moves, actually he did have U-turn. What am I talking about? Yeah, so we have this Sea King, which I know can't 3 KO me. Because he's knockoff just 30. So with that, over time, because I can't directly set up on that, but I can PP stall him out. And I know that eventually, with 16 hits later, you get a free setup on him. And yeah, I gotta explain, it's the best possible play, because eventually, yeah, he starts getting he gets the weakest hits possible. And yeah, you just wait until essentially you have the opportunity, like you have they're doing the least amount of damage possible, and then you pretty much just finish them off. And from there, yeah, you pretty much legitly sweep. In the case of something like Lapras, yeah, you just strap yourself in and outstall them with rest. Because I mean, what else are you gonna do? You also need to count carefully and time it so that ideally you would wake up on the turn that ideally you wake up on the turn that they die. So like in this case, I attacked him just so that he could kill me, but he struggled because he was choice locked. But from there, yeah, you just finish the sweep. Watch me eat up that sucker punch like it's nothing. So Lapras is so bulky, but yeah, that's pretty much how you sweep with a mono attacker. I think it's pretty esoteric and just something that's just really unpredictable. People would not expect it, and it doesn't even work all that often. But I think it's hilarious to see. So here's that Galliard set I showed y'all. It's just max speed because when you mean look someone, you just need to encore them. That's your only hope. If they're faster than you or doing damage, you need to bulk up and Drain Punch to outstrip that damage. So that's why I gave it max attack, no HP, because I figured that Drain Punch will offset the damage, and you just bulk up to high heaven. If you catch any slower mon without priority, like in a encore lock, you just bulk up 1,000 times Drain Punch, and you will actually sweep because, yeah, as you saw before, Drain Punch restores all that health. Let's see, you have another crappy version. You have this Tyranitar. I put the Mega version because the Mega version is so much more bulky than the non-Mega version. But you can choose to use the normal Tyranitar if you want an item. For any of these Megas, you can choose to use the normal version with like leftovers for a lower tier. In the case of Galliard, it's not great because you lose a lot of speed. So, but Tyranitar, yeah, you can run the non-Mega version, but the way is the same. You block someone, you drag dance up on them, and you rest up on them. And eventually you'll just crunch sweep with enough boost, because Tyranitar is pretty freaking strong, even uninvested. That's the uninvested attack. But the advantage of the Mega version is that if, in this case, if your normal version can survive just setting up a couple turns, you can Mega after the Sand Stream wears off the first time, so that you get 10 turns of Sand, but also of special defense boost. So that's just something to keep in mind if there's like a Alamomola or something that you happen to block up on. You can just set up all over it, boost up on the second Scald, or you can Mega on the second when Sandstream wears off, and pretty much just OHKO it when you have that +6 delicious boost. So EVs are also completely random. I think I just like wing these EVs, 248 in HP usually, and then you just kind of like ball slow whatever the frick you want in the defenses. Usually you don't even need speed investment unless there are Pokemon in the tier that you're using that have Taunt, like things like Taunt, or you can EV it so that like after like 1 or 2 boosts you can still kill mons that would either switch in, because that sometimes happens. But usually you just kind of aim like all out, like kind of all or bust. You're gonna get that +4, or you're gonna have a useless gimmick on your team. And I guess a last person to show off here is the Human Reverend, the classic. You pretty much infestation someone and then encore them. You can either let them bleed out, or you can Surge Dance a couple times to 4 times and bait on pass it out and just blow them away. Of course, yeah, this is like the best use of Ladian ever. So you have to give it that max speed, you give it that max HP, because it's brings most bang for your buck. And I think, yeah, of the options, you would just choose Early Bird, because if you have something like, I think if you have something like a Mungus, you can still set up on it if it spores you, I think. With the infestation and encore, you'll still have like a free turn. So there's a, this is wandering into the untested version, but I was originally inspired by this actual PU set from Gothitelle after it got banned from after Shadow Tog got banned to Ubers. This set is for PU, and you pretty much do the same thing that Goth always did, except you mean look them instead of like trapping them with your ability. You just mean look them, and then you Calm Mind to the hills and try to rest it off, because you have some pretty solid bulk. And I guess Side Shock was to win Calm Mind Wars if you trap like a, if you decide to trap like a Reuniclus or something. And then yeah, you have pretty decent bulk. So this is actually kind of inspiring. This kind of inspired me to check out these, like the concept of mean look, boost, arrest, mono attack. But of course this is by no means a perfect idea, because even though competitive boosts you when someone tries to lower your stats, which helps you win like Calm Mind Wars against like people using Psychic, you have no speed. So that's a big problem, because I mean you'll kill one mon, and then I guess someone's gonna hit you with some knockoffs right after. So in this case, I looked up the speed tiers for the tier, and I think I just put enough speed to outspeed 0 speed Politoed, which sometimes carry Encore in the tier, which would just frick you up if you tried like Calm Minding up on it. So you might even want to like speed it a little more if they tossed in any other speed. I'd be kind of sad though, because you hit a jump point in in your defense. But that's something to consider. But yeah, this is a PU set. This is another PU set that I think is kind of fun, because no one remembers Croconaw. This does like forgotten second evolutions. But yeah, the concept is simple. It's the same as Lapras. You just waterfall up on someone, you block them, D-dance, and then you eventually you'll end up waterfalling them. But this time you have sheer force on your side, so that'll help because it'll increase your damage output when you have like no investment initially. I guess one of the downsides though is, yeah, you can't flinch people, and flinch X comes in really handy for sweeps. But I guess with the Eviolite, you're actually pretty bulky, and you have less weaknesses than Lapras, but you're not as bulky as Lapras. You're actually, I think, a little weaker, maybe even a little slower. So I haven't really measured Eviolite stacked on top of this guy's stats, but I imagine he's a little less bulky than Lapras. The alternative is you can just run his full-fledged Papa version. Oh man, I probably shouldn't. You can just run the full-fledged Papa version with lefties. However, it's up to you to figure out if you can get like 3-8 KOs, or you can get 3-8 KOs instead of 2-8 KOs and survive moves better for alligators, like natural bulk, compared with like Eviolite. I got this next set, which is this awful idea. I've never actually got this to work, but in theory, this should in theory this would never work. But it's kind of funny thing about it. You just look up on someone and calm mind, and then rest and pray to the hills that no one crits you and that no one can 3 KO you. But you know, look at that bulk, max HP, Absol Mega. So in theory, Magic Bounce is something that would save you from a lot of status, but in practice, who the heck knows? Like, I guess I don't even know what this could set up on. Like, for all these things, I just imagine trapping like a Blissey and blowing it away someday. But I guess in UU, I don't really know who you can set up on a UU. Just all the passive teams in the world that happen to not have a fighting attack. All the Alamomolas in the world that just hate. I guess, yeah, like, I'll think of all the passive holes, especially specially attacking ones that you can just happen to trap. You got this Venomoth, which is a cool mon, and you have the infestation concept where you just trap them for a couple of turns, boost the frick up, and roost off the damage. Hopefully they're a special attacker. You ideally trap a special attacker that can't like status you, and then you boost up the frick up on it, roost off the damage if you can, and then hit them with some Tinted Lens Bug Buzz. If you don't want to get status, you can try the Wonder Skin, but I've never had great luck with that. But I mean, you can dodge like what, flinches or something. Actually, no, yeah, you just straight up like dodge like T-waves sometimes. It's kind of funny, but it's like halfsies. But I like Tinted Lens. It's a funner, more consistent thing to sweep with, in my opinion. But then again, who's gonna sweep with this set? No one is. This is pure theory mod. You got the Kmart version of that last set, which is even worse. But I guess you could end up PU, so it's not really a loss there, is it? Yeah, same set. I think I just wing the EVs. This outspeeds something. Pretty much like the rule of thumb is just max HP, speed creep, toss the rest into your worst stat, which is going to be defense in this case. But all these stats are his worst stat, you know. Yeah, so you infestation someone, Quiver Dance, roost off if you need to, and just Bug Buzz and Pray. So yeah, in this case you don't have pattern moves. You can run it if you want, but it's kind of redundant. And then you Tinted Lens, hopefully kill something, and hopefully keep killing things until, you know, there's nothing left to kill. And then of course this last thing is another theory mongery, but I want to use Grip Claw and infestation in like a setup situation. So in this case you're mono attacking poison, so Not exactly the greatest idea against a steel type, but I mean, who knows? You can put it with like a Diglett, put it with like a Trapinch, and kill the steels first. But yeah, in theory, you infestation on someone, and then you have 6 more turns to coil up, rest up, and pray that Shed Skin will wake you up immediately, and just keep doing that until you get +4, max defense, max accuracy, and just blow them away with the Gung Shot. So yeah, I believe that covers all the sets that I made. However, there's still just a ton of mons that you can use just overall. Pretty much what I did was pretty much just search up, like, I don't know, spell. You pretty much just search up like trapping moves, and then you just figure out whether you're trapping to kill. You figure it has like recovery of some sort. If you're trapping to set up, you just figure if it has like a boosting move, like who is Dragon Dance? Dragon Dance, no one. But I mean, that's where pretty much you look around to see who has what. So you can always try something completely insane, like got that Dragon Dance, got that. Well, Wrap doesn't really work great because you have to wear it off, but it is a work in progress. Alas, you can find some pretty dope things just looking at combinations, I guess. I mean, you have what is it? Yeah, you can find some interesting stuff if you pretty much mess around with the trapping moves, and pretty much the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit except for, I mean, what you have. So it is a catch-22 of do what you want to accomplish, but within means of whatever is possible. And yeah, but overall, I just think you should give these moves a shot, because for the most part, you never know what you can accomplish. There's some really cool ways to counter existing Pokemon in the meta, or that are used commonly, and that's the only way to find something new. Is things like Heart Stamp Jirachi, super modern in my opinion, or relatively, and there's just examples of people just trying new stuff. So this is one of the things that you never know. If you give it a shot, you never know what you might find. So with that, thank you for hanging through and watching this kind of janky, kind of convoluted explanation, but I hope you give this a shot and report back with the results, because there are some cool stuff out there. So with that, thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll get back to you later.